Welcome back everybody to another video. In this video we're here with this Genesis G70. We're doing brakes, drilled slotted rotors, carbon ceramic brake pads from PowerStop. I'm going to give you all the information how to do it yourself, and it'll be easy step by step, right? Hit like, share, subscribe, put some shit in the comments below please. Help me out with this algorithm, and let's get into it. Step 1, lift it off the ground, take the wheels off all the way around. Before you do any of this work, make sure your damn e-brake is off. Take the master cylinder cap off, because when you're going to compress the pistons, the fluid's going to come up, and if this cap is on, the air has nowhere to go, and it's going to be pressurized. So take this cap off, set it off to the side. Here's the part number for the front passenger side, JBR 1791XR. This is a part number for the front driver's side rotor, JBR 1791XL. Here's a part number for the front pads, Z26-6012. They all like to put these little screws here. They're P3. It's a fathead one. Put it in here. You're gonna have to impact it out. If it doesn't come out and you strip it, get a drill bit, drill it out, no big deal. We need to get these pins out of here. There's one on top, one on the bottom. Best way to do it is with a punch and a hammer. You just tap it out, and then once you get it out about, I don't know, half an inch, you can just pull it out by hand, and then this little spring will also flop out. As soon as you get both pins out, this thing will fall on the floor, so catch it. Get a flathead screwdriver, and you're going to push like that. You're going to need to use 2 screwdrivers total, but you're going to use this to compress the pistons. Once you get both screwdrivers in and both sides pistons are compressed, then we can pull out the pads. Use a 10mm wrench, pull this little bolt out that holds the brake line to the spindle. Get a 17mm with a wobbly end on it, because I don't remember if it's the front or the back, but one of them is a pain to get to if you don't have this wobble part on it. One is up there and one is down there. You're going to take both of those off, then the caliper is going to come off, and you hang it up with a zip tie around the spring. Hang up the caliper all nice and pretty with a zip tie going through it, through the spring. Now we can take off the rotor, but since the rotor's stuck on, you get your big mover hammer and you whack it. And just keep whacking it till it falls off. Use brake cleaner and spray the back side of the rotor. Then you're going to grab the rotor, slide it over the studs here, and I'm just going to line up the screw holes with the screw hole here, even though I'm not going to use the screws when I put it back together. Now that the rotor's on, I'm going to cut the zip tie, slide the caliper back over, and get this bolt and this bolt started by hand into these 2 threaded flanges. I torqued these 2 bolts back down to 75 foot-pounds. I didn't seem to have an issue hitting 75 foot-pounds, and it didn't feel too hard, so I'm going to call it a day. And that's nice and tight. I'm going to put back this 10mm here and just do it hand tight, because that's tiny. All you're going to do is slide them in. Make sure this material is touching the rotor, not the metal. Don't be dumb. Grab your new hardware. You're going to take it over here. You're going to put this guy in here. Slide through these pins. And there's a hole on the brake pad. You need to make sure it goes through the hole on the top and on the bottom, like so. You're going to put this here in the middle. And then you're going to feed the pin through here on the top and on the bottom. So I'm going to start, just put the top one in, and then we'll do the bottom. I have the top and the bottom going through this plate. Now we need to line up this hole with the hole in the pad and push that pin through this hole and this hole. Once you have it in like this, then you're going to take your punch again and you're going to punch this in until it stops. This will only go in so far, so grab your hammer and a punch, tap it all the way through. This should come out more on this side, and then you're done. Go ahead, toss the wheel on, torque it down, and then we're going to go to the rear of the car and do the same thing almost. It's a slightly different sizes of things, but for the most part they're the same. But we're going to go to the back right now and I'm going to show you how to do that. Here's the part number for the rear pads, Z262144. Use your hammer and punch again to hit these pins out of the caliper through the back. Use the two flatheads again to compress the piston on the caliper, and then you can pull these out and pull the pads out, throw them in the garbage. Use some brake cleaner, spray out where the pads sit on the top and the bottom, get it nice and wiped down with a rag if you have to. So the bottom bolt here is where you definitely need the wobbly socket, because this toe arm is in the way, so it makes it a lot easier if you have the wobbly. And then you have this one up here. It's the same size as 17 that you used in the front. Set the caliper on top like this. Now you're going to get your mover hammer and you're going to pound the rotor until it comes off. Pull this little rubber plug out, transfer it to the new rotor. Spray the back of the rotor with brake cleaner and then slide it on. Now we're going to put the caliper back on. So you're going to grab your 17s. You're going to set this in place. Start them by hand. Screw them in most of the way by hand. And then torque them down to 75 foot-pounds. Grab your new pads. You're going to slide them in. One here, one here. Grab your new hardware. Start your pins. You got to make sure you line them up with the pads again. Get them started through, like so. Then you're going to put this thing in. You're going to put the springy side down. You're going to put the pins through the middle top and middle bottom part of that spring, like so. Then you're going to manhandle it to get them to line up like that. And like that. Now take your hammer and your punch these guys in till they stop moving, and they should be sticking out of this side of the caliper. We're done with the brakes, so we can put this cap back on, righty tighty, and we're done. Shut your hood. Set your car on the ground and then use a torque wrench. You're going to torque all the lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds. Very last step is to just pump the brakes up. You put the key in the car, obviously, start it, and we're just going to pump it until it gets hard. Pump it until it gets hard. Oh, pump it. Oh, it's so hard. And once it's hard, go for a test drive.